Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here. And today's video is a tag video. This is going to be a top 10 list, and these are going to be fragrances to help you smell like a boss. I was tagged by my friend over at T Smell Good. Go check his channel out. I'll link him down in the description below. And I've broken this list down into 3 categories. I've got a clean cut corporate office style boss. Think like Wall Street, that sort of ambitious hustle environment, kind of young guys, even though they might have climbed the corporate ladder rather quickly. The second category is kind of like a more rough and rugged kind of serious sort of boss, probably, you know, smokes a big fat cigar, is not really that pleasant of a personality type, isn't quite as ambitious, and just kind of is happy to be in his position of delegation. And then the third category is going to be the old money type boss, somebody who's got like really big pockets of wealth and is just kind of living the easy life at this point after they've kind of gone up there in age and have done delegated enough tasks to enough people and provided some passive income to themselves after a lot of hard work. And then finally, I've got one other fragrance that's just going to be a catch-all that could fit into any of these 3 categories. I've also provided a cheapie, a designer, and a niche for each of the 3 categories. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into this list. Starting off with the cheapie for the corporate style boss, I'm going to go with Dunnhill's Icon. So you get a really nice dry neroli black pepper fragrance right here. Very nice, clean, safe fragrance for an office type environment. So you could wear this even if you weren't the boss to the office, but I think this is, you know, just so well done and polished of a fragrance. I feel like it commands a certain degree of respect. Despite it being an affordable fragrance, you can get it for around $40. I think it's very elegant, very smooth, and like the touch of black pepper just gives it a clean edge alongside of that kind of almost powdery dry neroli. I think there's some vetiver in here as well, maybe a little bit of oak moss, that just kind of makes it very clean, sophisticated, and, you know, something that a corporate style boss would be wearing. Then the designer for this category is going to be Chanel's Platinum Egoise. Again, we've got some vetiver. This one's got sandalwood, lavender, geranium. Gives you a really nice, clean barbershop shaving foam kind of vibe. So it gives you a little bit, yeah, like a nice, thick shaving foam, but then there's a slight metallic edge going on in here. Maybe from some rosemary in the top. But that slight metallic edge alongside of the shaving cream makes it feel very much like, you know, just something sharp and fit for being a cutthroat kind of corporate Wall Street environment. So I think this is a great pick for a boss in that style, you know, corporate office setting for the designer section of this list, and that's going to be Platinum Egoise. Finally, the niche selection for this corporate style boss is going to be Amouage's Reflection Man. So again, you've got, I think, some sandalwood, some neroli, and I think orris root is going to be one of the main players in here. So you get that nice kind of powdery aspect from the orris root, and then there's some vetiver in here that makes it really nice and clean. The neroli gives it that nice kind of dry feel. A lot of people say this smells like money when they smell it, and I do think there's been a reformulation on this. The newer batches don't have the reflection imprinted on the neck of the cap there, so I can't speak for the newer formulations, but this one that I have here I think is perfect for a corporate style Wall Street boss. Like I said, it does just smell a little bit like money. It's just got a very nice, clean, sophisticated, disciplined kind of aura about it. Like somebody that's, you know, got a routine and they stick to it, and just gets the job done, and is ambitious, young. That's the kind of vibe I get off of this one. This is Amouage Reflection Man. Okay, so the next category is kind of like a little bit more rugged boss. Maybe he's got a big fat cigar, kind of he drinks like coffee black, a little bit older, probably has a beard, isn't clean shaven like these other guys here. So my cheapie pick for that category is going to be John Bravado's Vintage. So again, a little bit of like a barbershop style feels, but it's a bit darker. It's sweetened up with some tobacco. There's some balsam fir in here that gives it kind of like a little bit of a more mature green aspect to it. A unique kind of, I think there's a rhubarb note in here that kind of adds like a sweetness that you don't get in normal perfumery. Overall, this is you know, like something that I just feel like commands a little bit of respect. It definitely leans towards that old world kind of vibe, but it definitely is more modern in its execution. Rodrigo Flores Rue is the perfumer behind this fragrance, and he does an excellent job of just combining that old world kind of you know, maturity. Like, there's just something about this fragrance that a boss would be wearing, because it does have a little bit of something more from an old world that is just more disciplined and not frivolous and not so playful, I guess. So that's gonna be my pick for the serious rugged boss for the cheapie category. This is John Bravado's Vintage. Designer category for this category is Robert Graham's Valor. So this is I think the notes that they list on Fragrantica are sage, amber, and coffee. I think there's quite a bit more going on in here, even though it is a little bit of a linear, simple fragrance, but it has that kind of mature vibe from the sage going on. It gives it a certain greenness that makes it a little bit more grown up, but the coffee and the amber create this really nice, creamy, almost like latte vibe going on, but it's not boyish or childish in any way. It is just like a very nice, sophisticated, but darker fragrance because of that coffee note. But the sage keeps it nice and clean, and I just, whenever I did a full review on this fragrance, and at the time I pictured a boss or you know, a president of a company wearing this one, somebody that maybe owns a cafe, also like a principal of a school. So definitely a leadership position is well suited for this fragrance. Valor, I think, is also something, you know, it's a virtue, and a emeritus virtue that you're going to want to have in a leadership position. So I definitely think this is a great pick for a little bit more of a mature, rugged style boss or CEO, and that's Robert Graham's Valor. And finally, my number one pick for the more bold and rugged and mature, definitely smoking a big fat cigar kind of corporate level boss, something of that nature, is going to be Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud. So this, if I could just put it into simple terms, smells like the smoke that you get out of the fog machines at school dances or weddings. It's just got this very slight, subtle sweetness to it, and then it just smells like a very foggy smoke, like not smoke that you would get off of like burning leaves or something on fire, but just a very pleasant kind of tobacco smoke. I think it's sweetened up a little bit with a whiskey note as well. Incredible stuff. I think it's technically discontinued, but it still pops up at discounters from time to time for, I believe, like the same price that it always has been. It's $200 for this 50 ml. I definitely think this is worth owning, though. This is one of my favorite kind of darker fragrances in my collection, but because the textural feel of it is just foggy and light in that sense, the darkness of the scent profile and then the lightness of the texture just make this something that's easy, even though it's very bold. I think it's easy enough to wear in a office type environment, especially for the boss, and that's going to be Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud. And finally, the last category is the old money category. This is somebody that I would think of like you know, Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. He's just kind of you know, that filthy rich kind of character, and so I wanted to definitely, for the cheapie, for this category, want to go with a Bentley fragrance, and this is Bentley Absolute. Michel Almerac is the perfumer behind this one, and he essentially took the DNA from Gucci Pour Homme 1, which he was also the perfumer of, and transferred it into just a cheaper ingredients bottle. I haven't smelled Gucci Pour Homme 1, but this fragrance is a beautiful kind of papery cedar. So there's a papyrus note that's dominant in here, and then the cedar, a little bit of, I think there's some pink pepper in the top. But overall, it's just like a very nice old world wood that you get out of here. Just nice, clean, crisp. It reminds me of like some polished wood that you would see on like a long table in a boardroom. Some nice like finished polished wood, you know, countertops. It's like sitting on, you know, holding like a bust or something back in your office. Just beautiful fragrance. I think very much fit for a old money kind of boss. The designer for the old money category is going to be Cartier Declaration Parfum. So this is just like a very nice kind of spicy but a little bit more sweetened up and less animalic version of the original Cartier Declaration. Definitely modernizes the DNA quite a bit, but it isn't modern in the sense that it, you know, veers very far from a classical style. So it just has, yeah, just this beautiful woody and spicy warmth. Just it reminds you a little bit of you know, an old money character that's not quite as evil as Mr. Burns, I would say. Beautiful stuff. One of my favorite top 10 in my collection. I really do love this scent profile, and this one is just incredible. I think it's great for the office, even though it's a little bit darker. You know, it's more of a fall-winter fragrance, but I think you can get away with it in climate-controlled environments. Definitely get your nose on this one. Like I said, it's one of my favorites in my collection. And it blends like woodiness and like I think cardamom is also a big player in here, and it just has like that sexiness factor from the cardamom, but it's very mature and you know, grown up way of doing that. So that's Cartier Declaration Parfum. And finally, the niche fragrance for this category shares a lot of similitude with the last two fragrances, just like a nice, warm, spicy, woody fragrance, and that is going to be Creed's Royal Oud. So what makes this one a little bit different than the other spicy, woody ones in this category is this one has a nice, like, kind of green tinge to it. I think there's like an angelica note in the mid that gives it this like foggy forest kind of atmosphere, and then the citruses in the top are also they're a lot more bright than the other ones in this category. I think there's some lemon in the top of this one and some pink pepper. Yeah, just really nice, beautiful fragrance. It's got a little bit of like muskiness to it as well. Some ambergris down in the base that Creed's known for. Just like incredible stuff. It's a little bit pricey, but that's why it's, I think, fit for an old money style boss. And yeah, just nice, elegant, woody, a little bit green, a little bit mysterious, foresty, bright with the citrus. Definitely fit for a boss type figure, old money, Creed's Royal Oud. And then finally, the last one, that's a catch-all. This one kind of blends the best parts of Terre d'Hermès and Eau Sauvage Parfum from Dior, and this is Dior Homme 2020. So the LME resin is like what kind of the parts from Eau Sauvage Parfum that this reminds me of. It kind of just has that almost like licorice style resin quality to it. And then the overall like woody, isoe super, and citric qualities in here have a little bit of Terre d'Hermès quality to it without the orange. So it's just like a very nice, a little bit powdery, woody, sophisticated, elegant office fragrance that I think is fit for any of these three categories, and is, I think, if you were going to pick one fragrance from this list to smell like a boss, this is one to go for here in 2023. Incredible stuff. Recent acquisition, and I've been wearing it a whole lot. Despite not having iris, and iris being one of my favorite fragrance notes, I think this is a gem of a release from Dior. And so that completes my top 10 list for fragrances to smell like a boss. And since this is a tag video, I'm just going to leave it as an open tag. I've seen a lot of people have already been jumping on it or have already been tagged. So I'm just going to leave it open to anybody that's watching and is a content creator. If you do jump on this tag, let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know if there's any fragrances that I might have missed that you would have included in here. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.